Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadhananda Tirtha Bhavat Padacharyobhyo Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolaya Nidhi Jnana Prataya Buddha Sura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Madhiprabodhan Vadan Rasakritavan Bhuvidattva Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatirtha Munivaryam Namami पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनवे सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहैः तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विश्वदावहैः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Welcome, friends. I think we have been off from Kathopanishad journey for the last 2 weeks due to unforeseen reasons, and now I think we today also I have to start a little late, because I had to be away for a while. And with this, because today we are coming to the last but the most important, because the verse of the Kathopanishad, with which the Kathopanishad comes to an end. This is the ultimate, the final mantra of Kathopanishad. This final mantra of the Kathopanishad, of course, because it doesn't say as to, because it culmination, it says, because it is the final one, mainly because, you've gone through the effort of listening to the entire Kathopanishad, all those 122 verses, and right from the beginning you've gone through. Now, what is that, your takeaway? The takeaway, the Kathopanishad tries to summarize us in such a wonderful way that we will find it, because as we have gone through the journey and in our own, because the thought process, how own, because what is the takeaway we might have, because gone little, non-linear, because this is what is being said, this is what we are following and how we will be able to adopt in our life, because what I am doing, is it always correct, because can I change my ways of thinking? Can I change my ways of doing? All those things comes about. So when it comes, because the Upanishad allows, Upanishad knows, that all our trivialities and the trials and tribulations of living, the Upanishad fully recognizes. It not only recognizes, it also takes it to the point, because where you can likely to falter. And, even if you are faltering, it is not on account of your own sort of deficiencies, because it is because the experience that has come about to you and what you have learned from the experience or what you are trying to learn from the experience, they have always created a paradox. I have been doing this, all others have been telling me, because you do this or you do the in a particular way and all. But am I able to follow that? And am I able to adopt that? Because that is what, this entire the Upanishad. And then, it also says there is no harm in whatever you are doing. There is no harm in our way, what we are following the life. But there is always a better way of doing the things. So if you see the productivity program, any productivity program, be it in the organization or in even in otherwise, where we have to improve our everyday living, there is always a better method. There is always a better way of doing the things. There is always a better way of thinking, better way of taking the things. But that is that shows that is always continuously we will have to evolve, because this betterment doesn't end anywhere. There is no goalpost. It goes till the end of this life, till our last breath. Because we can always find a better way of doing, a better way of living, and better way of sort of taking the things as it comes. Because how it takes. But the same thing, because what Nachiketa has done is he has also tried to evolve himself from, because from the curse of his father, he has cursed him to go away, because he said, I will give you into the death, because he has having faced, the squarely, what everyone fears in this world, the mortal fear of a death, he has squarely faced as an infant, as a young boy. And because having gone that, and he has also seen beyond, because what is the mortal body goes off, there is a life. What is that? That is what Upanishad is trying to find out. After you leave the body, what happens? That is the question, first comes. So when it comes, because since you have left the body, and then there is the inevitable question happens, there is something more than your body. You are not the body. Finally, the Upanishad, wants us to make, because finally it gives us the takeaway is that you are not alone confined to this body and mind and intellect, what you are made of. You are something much beyond that. But we are confining ourselves, with our body, mind, and intellect, because whatever we have experienced, we have taken it as the experience, as we are grappling with the experience as why it happened, how it happened, why it should, why it could not have happened in a particular way, because it has happened to someone else in a different way and all. That is not, because after all, the right way of knowing ourselves. The right way of knowing is experience happens. Experience happens in the way it has to happen. But what we learn from the experience is the finally one, because that adds up to our knowledge, not the experience what we have undergone. This is exactly has been brought about, and that means, because what we have experienced, because when we are experiencing and we are taking experience as it is and all, what happens is, we are trying to have our own comfort zone, which we have talked, adequately in the earlier mantras and all. And because once you have taken, because the knots that is being granthi, because we talked hridaya granthi, because when he is the internal self, he is sannivishtaha, he is inside every one of us. But because the knots complexities created around us, and having taken the experience as our own, and because of it, because instead of learning what the experience has taught us, because that is the essence of it, that is the essence of knowing, how we can always do a better way of thinking, better way of doing, and better way of living. And that betterment doesn't come as long as you don't take away the essence of experience and you only wallow in the sort of, the actual experience you have undergone, trying to find out why, how, and why not and all. Because for that, there is no answers. It will not be, there will not be any answers, because all these things are conditioned by your own mind. Whatever has happened is conditioned. Why you are not able to do in a better way, because you have been conditioned by your mind in that way. Why your mind has been conditioned in that way, because your perception, accumulated perceptions, your way of thinking has always been like that. But now, because as you evolve every day, once you find, because there is always a better way of doing, when you start a sport, you are a rookie, because finally you have been taught the basics, how to, hold the bat, even if you are talking about cricket, and how to, because the have a stance, and how to, face the bowler, because when he bowls, even a bowler has been taught, how he has to originate the, because the, or he is bowling, the action, where it has to start, how it has to culminate, what are all the rules of the game. You understand everything at all. You will have to play within the rules, but you will have to play as perfectly as within the rules. And in that process, you also try to develop the skill. And the skill, once you developed, it is a continuous process. It's not that, because be all and end all. Once the skill has been developed, you will have to adopt it to the circumstances. You will have to adopt to the time of the day. You have to adapt to the play, because where you are playing, in which pitch you are playing, you will have to adapt yourself. Otherwise, you will not be able to play the game. The life is also like that. We have got all the basic inputs from us, and we thought, because that basic inputs are good enough, for us to carry us. But it is not that. We will have to continuously evolve. We will have to find the time, space, and as well as, because the point of moment, when it has to be acted, you will not be doing the same thing, what you would have done 10 years before, because you have matured. Now you will be acting in a particular way. You understand, because you will not be going back to, because having come to the master's level, you will not be going back to the basics, what you taught, what you learned about, because the basics have gone already. It has all been, because permitted, and you have gone into a level where the basics have become the given thing. And you don't have to, because test someone, in a PG level to know whether he knows the basics and all. He knows the basics. But then whether he has gone, because whether he are able to gain some originality, once you are able to bring about something, which others have not seen, that is how the research goes. So likewise, in our life is also every day, discovering ourselves. That is why rediscovery of our own self every day is the process of life. For that, what we do, because that is where, because we could, but the first thing, which has to go to the questioning ourselves, as finding ourselves, because the internally what we are, because that needs a lot of courage. Why it needs a lot of courage? Because having been confined to the body, mind, and intellect, so what happens? I have been living, because suddenly, because the body goes off, what happens? This is the same question that happened to Nachiketa. So he said, because when he left the body, then he realized, yes, there is something else. He is not the body alone. So therefore, finally, what we will be understanding is, by taking away, this, we are not confined to this body, mind, and intellect. We are beyond that. So that is something much more than, and we have, because what is that? That is the spirit, what we can call. That spirit is nothing but the soul, what we call, whenever, because Jivatma or whatever you call, because that has been, because eternal. It has lived before, having this body. And it is going to live for, because time immemorial, even after leaving this body. So therefore, there is no question of, confining yourself to this body. You will have to transcend beyond this body. How does it help in living, with this body now? But knowing that you are not the body, how does it help now? By knowing this, you will not be always being attaching, because undue importance to what is happening to you every moment. What is happening has happened because of the conditionalities of the mind, body, and intellect at that point of time. As you have been evolving every day, as you are always finding a better way of doing, because every day, is a sort of, the process of improving ourselves. Every day is a process of developing ourselves. So therefore, I should not fall back, because yesterday I thought like that, today my thought has come. Because you have learned, your experience has taught you. So once you have learned, because it is that, you'll have to forget. Why? Because we should not hold on to the past is. The past is, conditioned by the mindset at that point of time. But the present is an already developed condition. You should not bother about the future, because the future, the things will happen in its own way. At that point of time, you will have the wherewithal to deal with the things, because of your approach to see the problem with the open minded. You will not always be attaching, the precedents, what has happened to you, or nor you will be going by the experience what others have heard, and which has been, because brought to you, for reference. You will not be able to take it. So that is why, because last mantra, the 2.3.17, what we have seen, it has given us, sort of one of the brilliant, this one, you are not the body, and, you are simply being, because someone is operating your body. You are only an instrument through which, you are being operated. But you have taken it to be the truth, and then you have been, suffering yourself. That is why, because last mantra brought it, Angushta Matro Purushaha, the one who is thumb size, because he is there, in Sada Jananam Hridaye Sannivishtaha. Sadam, he is always everywhere, he is everywhere, and he is there in everyone. Sannivishtaha, but we are not able to do. Purushon Antaratma, because he is inside us. But he is operating us, he is giving us. And because when he is giving us, how we are acting, because we are also got our conditionalities of our own, because the three gunas, that is, because Satya, Rajasa, Sattva, Rajasa, and Tamasa, because we our own, conditionalities, what we have created, is being represented by the three gunas. Because when you want to be transactional, it is Rajasa. When you want to be, sort of you want to be some sort of altruistic and as well as, being open to everything and all, then that is Sattva. But when you are, totally indolent, you do not want, why I should, because life is full of troubles, why should take the life, because let me allow it to go, what is happened, let me not take any action, because some people live like that. That is tamasa, that is indolence, totally, procrastinating, not taking any decision whatsoever. So, and you also justify in not taking a decision is also a decision. You will take like that. So because someone will tell you, because you can always bring a logic to, whatever happens to us. That is why, because the entire thing, because in this sattva, rajasa, and tamasa, these words, when it has been coined in the scriptures, they have been coined with a lot of, because the basic, insight qualities that spring in us every moment, that has been taken into account and, Rajasa, because once you have said, because when finally, why, because it's not, you'll have to be transactional when you are doing business. And when you have to be transactional, when you are having a leadership issues, and you cannot be holding on to the emotions. You will have to work with the head as well as the heart. But the most important thing is you will have to use the head, to bring in order, and heart will have to finally be in bringing in the actual, the best in everyone else. Head will help you to bring in order. You can give threatening. You can also be using your powers to bring people as it is happening now and then. Will it work? They will not. Finally, you understand, because that is why, because the proverb is raise your food, but don't bite. If you're a real leader, because you will give, because all sort of, you will be giving rudimentary, all cautions. But then, when it happens, finally you will be happy. Because when a person is in a position, when he is not able to, he's down deep in the distress, because he is not able to, his own problem, we are not able to understand. He is also being, because same Hridaya, Satam Hridaya Sannivishtaha, he is also being controlled by the same power. I am also being controlled by the same power. Is it does it give any sort of the dominion over him? I can't dominate over him. I can't treat him as a sort of a means. I will have to treat him on a ends. But then, because when in the day-to-day life, because you will not always able to display that quality. So you will be using the head, to do whatever the rules within which, the game is to be played, you will be doing it. You will be doing, because there will be a stick and there will be a carrot, everything will be there. But they will all be with a genuine sort of a highest purpose. You will be doing, finally, you will not mean anything bad for that person. You will not be doing anything bad for that person. Finally, what you will be doing, he himself realizes that is for his own benefit. If you keep that in mind, any decision you take it will be dispassionate, it will be acceptable, and it is the right way of doing the things. At the same time, because it is not that, because I will only be a sattvic quality in the sense, because I will only be, doing the altruistic thing. Do the altruistic thing, but as well as, being, because that's for, by doing the altruistic things, only some segment of the people will get the benefit, others will not. Like your Indian GDP is growing so much, but what is the common man's per capita income? But only few people, because have got, because 200x of their sort of a wealth going up, whereas all others are still struggling day-to-day life. How this inequality comes? Why a country is considered to be, why, because Scandinavian countries are to be, the index of happiness is high, Japan and other places. Why is the index of happiness is low in our? Because the inequality has created, because you are trying to create, the things favorable, but only for few people, because you are trying to be, you try to be altruistic, but in that process you are creating the inequality. So when you are understanding that is everyone is having the same power in them, they are the instruments, you will not be doing that. You will be trying to do things that is equitable, but then everyone will have their ability to take the opportunity to grow. Why US is still considered to be in a place where people are going, in spite of all the deficiencies, the racism is there, and because all the anti-immigrant things are there. Why still people are trying to flock, because irrespective of the fact and all. The thing is, because you will be able to realize, because if you have a goal, you will be able to go through the path. Despite all these things, because the system has got the inbuilt meritocracy. However, it may be working against the people who have succeeded there, who are getting success there. And there are also people, who have found the experience there, totally miserable. I think, because those stories never come out. Because, we know people are still living as a second-class citizens. You don't have all the liberties, that is available in this. But even in this country, how much liberty we have? So, because independence is not, you will do anything, whatever you are willing, it is interdependence. We will have to work, because we will have to network and we will have to work for the benefit of each other. That is the society. That's why, because in one, because I remember an occasion when a Japanese, because a leader came here and all, he said, how your products are, because being marketed in, they are flourishing in India, because this is way back in 3 to 4 decades back. If you see, everyone was having a Seiko or Faber Luba and the watches, made in Japan. he said, because how come, you are trying to, because bring in, your wisdom to things. He said, you see every Indian's hand, it will be a Japanese flag. In those days, it was that. He said, no, how you are able to do that, bring it and all, but why we are not able to? We are also started, because a lot of companies, of course, the Titan and all are there nowadays. But despite that, because even though, even the craze is for the watches made outside the India. So why it has happened, because then he said, because you are a country of, in those days, because 40 billion people and now it is 1.4 billion and all, 40 million and 60 million in those days. You are a crowd of 60 million. We are a nation of 10 million. That's what they say. In the sense, because the people don't see only the personal benefit, even from the policymakers to down like the last man, he tries to do, whatever his role, try to accomplish as much as possible, and he is not craving for something, because more to me, he is trying to do best, because a Japanese, if you ask him not to work, because go home, he will commit a suicide, harakiri he will do it. Because the culture is they have to work, the work continuously they have to do as perfectly as possible. In that process, what happens? When everyone gives in the best, the society flourishes. Whereas in our case, because someone, because 100 people will work and one man will enjoy. Because, we want to always, we have got, because since we have had a survival, because we were all under the dominion of the other country, the other masters. We have always been, subjugated, we have got that, subjugation, and we want to subjugate others. We want ourselves to be free, but we want to subjugate others, because that mentality has come. But slowly, of course, things have changed. People have made, because the lot of, the open-mindedness have come, and I find a lot of youngsters taking up the causes which otherwise, because earlier days, even people with advanced knowledge and in advanced resources were hesitating to take, because the youngsters are taking. That is the greatness that has happened. So therefore, because going by, not creating our own comfort zones, not creating the complexities, because just holding on to our experience as the ultimate end of it, and simply, live out the experience. Whatever happened is happened. It has happened for our good. What we have learned for us, the final, the benefit which we are going to get. That is what is finally going to add to the evolution of ourselves, thought process, of a better way of living, better way of thinking, as well as better way of doing things. That will happen only that. That is what we call sadhana. So how that sadhana we talked about, how I have to, because away from always the comfort zones, always in the complexity is created out of that, because that is why, because the Adhyatma we said, because this sadhana is, because we call meditation, we have called the Ashtanga Yoga is there in Patanjali. In fact, Kathopanishad is supposed to be an exposition of Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga. That it gives, the essence of Ashtanga Yoga. It is not giving in the on those steps like yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. It's not taking all it is not taking all those 8 steps. It is giving everything, in just, every chapter. All the 3 valleys, they progress so beautifully. First, it has first to take out your fearlessness. The fearlessness is because no one has to fear about death. Death is the, because the mortal fear of man comes, because of the death. And if I lose my life, you are not losing anything. You are losing only the body, mind, and intellect, as and when it happens. So that is not taken over, because the infant, the infant Nachiketa, faces that. And finally, because when he has faced and what he wanted, because he wanted to know, finally, the sadhana by which, he can get to know the ultimate wisdom, ultimate truth, going after the truth, ultimate truth. What is the truth? Because after leaving the body, if there is a soul, and there is a soul, and there is a spirit, what happens? Because what is that? Because I should know about it, how to know. That is why, it gives chapter after chapter. And it says, because always in the life, you will be always presented with the pleasant as well as, shreyas and prayers. We talked about 2 words in the second valley. What is delectable and what is desirable. Well, then what is, of course, delightful, we all think, but what is desirable for us? So that is why, because what is desirable is what we need. What is delectable is our greed. So if you go after that, because then you will not be. That is what the chapter 2 brought it. So things, because it is not only that, because to know the final truth, you should know what is pleasant and what is the ultimately the most important ones. Delectable and desirable, what is pleasant is, because always, in the living in this world, all comfort zones you will be creating. That is pleasant. I want all the comforts. That is a comfort zone. And what is desirable is, because how am I to, even if the comfort zone goes off, how am I to able to live the same way to think, same way to act? That is what it is, because the second chapter brought about so beautifully. And the third chapter brought about, because how, all these delectable, desirable and all, because then, finally, you will not be getting everything through the logical thinking. You will not be finding, because all you learned, the physical sciences, have taught us, how this world is behaving, how the human body is there, what things are happening. We all know. But are they, because as long as the reason is able to work, the logic will work. When the reason fails, the faith begins. How it happened? I did everything. I did, because I went to the right doctor. I went to the ring. I did everything for my parents like this. I did everything to my children. Why it is happening? Then suddenly, you get into, because you are just taken away by, what has happened. But you are not able to detach. As long as you do everything, whatever sincerely, leave it at that. That is sadhana. When you are doing at that, don't go about, because then you are trying to sort of calibrate the results and measure, what you have done against that calibrated results. You are not the one to calibrate the results and measure. Nishkamya karma, when he says, when you do that, automatically it happens based on the quality of sort of, the whatever you have done. So if you have done something, if you have done the best will automatically come to you. You don't have to be, because seeking for it. But if you have done something, because it will also happen to you. But then once you learn and experience, then you correct your course, then automatically you will be able to go about it. That is a normal way of life. Animals live like that, because they go on the king, because a tiger kills a prey, and because then finally it takes whatever it wants and leave it, because he is not bothered about, whether it is going to, the cubs are going to take it or so, because it will allow it to the other animals to take it. It's not bothered. It just instinctively what he has to do, it has done and it has gone off. But whereas, we go about, because how, I want that, I do not want it to be. If the tigers had the knowledge of it, they would have taken a refrigerator and put the prey inside, and, because they would have kept it for their cubs. And but they don't have all those things to do. They just do it. They live for the day. Because once you know, whatever happens, because you will have a mindset, kya farak padta hai? It will happen. It has happened. I am trying to give my best. I will try to give. At any point of time, I will not falter from giving my best. Just because, someone is telling someone is bad, I am not going to see him as bad. I am going to see with my own experience. I am going to, I am going to see the goodness in you. I am going to see, because what is, that, is more matters to me. And because I am not going to be influenced by others. Even if I experience some bad experience with him, I will just give him the benefit of doubt, because it might have, because he could have been a different, he is an instrument. Same, because Sannivishta, he might have done at that point of time. He might have been, controlled by, because certain the devious thoughts he might have done. But he might have realized, and I don't have an idea. Even if he doesn't realize, I'm not going to be bothered. That is why Rama is called the Maryada Purushottama. Why is called Maryada Purushottama? What is it? Even if someone done 99% harm to him, even if that one small goodness, it has done to him, he will remember only that good, and he will not consider all the 99, because the wrongs he has done to him. That's why he's called Maryada Purushottama, because why he has been brought as an example. That is how, your development takes place. If you are going to be bothered about all the 99, because wrongs you have issued, you will be sort of scuttling your own development. In that process, you also create, all sort of ill will. All, because unwanted qualities that will come about you, and your perceptions will be clouded, and your thoughts will be, taking you to the wrong direction, and you will always be facing continuous, because sort of a episode of darkness in life. The life is not supposed to be miserable. It will have to go from one stage to another. This is exactly, because what we have seen when once we have also seen, the Purusha of the size of the thumb, because once we understood, he is there, everyone and all. And once we are able to draw out the goodness, because he is one, the once we realize that, because that is fate, because we said, like a grass, we used a word called munja, like, in the stalk of the grass inside, because that is the one most pleasant part of it, ishika. Once you are able to take out, and I like, once you are able to do that, your mind will be, you have been controlled by that one, you are not going to be, you are going to give the best. How you will be able to, you will be meditative in the sense, always you will be focusing on the present, mindfulness. The mindfulness is the highest quality anyone will get after having the Upanishad. You will not be bothered about anything. You will be mindfully doing everything at that point of time and give your best for that. So irrespective of the fact, whether it results in something good, or results, creating a lot of discomfort to you, distress to you, you are not going to be bothered. But then, you will go on taking in because if there is something to be done, but then every day is a better day, and every moment is a better moment. So as you go on evolving, finally, you will find that is the journey. You have to enjoy the journey. You are not going to be the destination. So once you enjoy the journey, and that is what, the Kathopanishad says, how to enjoy it. So that is why it says, why you follow the scriptures, so that, once you follow the scriptures, you will only be holding on to what you have to offer the best. And what you are getting is incidental. So a lot of things, what you need will automatically come. But if you are trying to, focus on what I should get something more, by doing this, by doing that, in that process, you will fritter away. You will be going about, because what is being, talked about, Angushtatama Purusho Antaratma Sada Janana Hridayaste Sannivishtaga, we have understood. But then Tam Swachirot, because, then once we, like a Munja stock, once I found out, I am only the instrument, and finally it is getting done by me as an instrument. I am not the final be all and end all, because, because the same instrument is getting acted in, it is getting others also to act in the same way. This is what we are going. So this is exactly has been brought about, having understood all those things, having seen, because what we have seen repeatedly, from, and then, because whatever you are seeing, Pranchikani, when you see everything around the world, and you will not be able to see the inside. Once you see the inside, the outside will not matter at all. Once you are able to focus on yourself, once you give a valuable time yourself, once you give the mindfulness, to your entire, effort in giving your excellence, nothing will matter to you. All other things will automatically fall in place, and nothing is going to be affecting you, because you may be affected in other sides, because you see, he did so much of a good thing. What has happened to him? That is in other sides. But what is the internal bliss he had? The one simple example I can give is when Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, he was incessantly being, because till the last moment being interacting with all the devotees, irrespective of their stature, irrespective of their intelligence, irrespective of, because their attainment and all, he never sort of, found any difference between them. So he was talking to everyone in their way. So when someone, because people were, apparently, he was having a throat cancer. He was supposed to have been suffering, because he was not able to swallow even a morsel of a water. At that point of time, because everyone was like, "Aapko, you are such a great person, why it has happened to you," and all and all. He only smiled. But one of his disciples, who was only serving him, who was taking care of his personal needs, who is not so sort of a scholarly person, he said, I know, sir, internally you are highly, so much happy now, and I have not seen, such a happiness in your face. At that, when he was really suffering, to get even a morsel of water going through his, for his throat, it's not going through, he is suffering that. He said, because then he said said, sometime earlier, he said in a pure Bengali, Sala Doregachi. The sense, he has caught me. I know I am always, irrespective of the fact, whatever suffering is having there in the body, he has caught me. How, because it's not that, one has, even when you are suffering, you should not go to the hospital and you take every medicine and all. But then, when you are doing everything and all, because, then once you have the mindset, look, because this is a body, this is bound to happen. These are all the structures given by, because, whether we have used the body properly and whether we have fed the body properly, or whether we have taken care of the body properly, because all those things, to the extent, whatever we have done, it will also be good. When it is not there, it will also have the problem, it will be manifesting in the bodily diseases and all. So then, because then what happens, then you'll have to take care of the body. It doesn't mean, because you don't, stop, your own positive mindset, your own mindfulness will have to always go about what you are doing. So then, because even at that point of time in the sense, it's not that, because everyone will have the capacity to say like Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. What Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is said is finally what will happen if you are going through the Kathopanishad and get the ultimate knowledge of truth. So once you have truth, what is the truth? Because that will be seeing the next Upanishad, which we are going to see. That Upanishad, because in one of the particular mantra, whatever has come has become our national sort of a slogan in our emblem, Satyameva Jayate. Satyameva Jayate is part of the Mundaka Upanishad, which we are going to take next. Of course, next week we will be having the essence of Kathopanishad. Afterwards, we will be taking the Mundaka Upanishad. It is the third Mundaka, the first chapter, sixth verse, Satyameva Jayate word comes. That has been adopted. But today's events, today, because whatever is happening, will you be able to say, hold, Satyam ever Jayate? Because, if you talk to the people, is it that, I am doing everything? Is it, everything is happening that way? Certainly not. Because Satyameva Jayate is followed by another word, Na Anritam. That we have not taken. Satyameva Jayate, we have said, it is a beautiful, truth alone triumphs, we know. But truth alone triumphs, not untruth. That is the na-anritam, is not untruth. Because, because truth is, who is it? Your truth is different and my truth is different. We are having a subjective analysis of the truth. We don't know what is the final truth. Truth is, someone which is, truth is the one ultimately knowing your own awareness. You are existing because of so many people. I am living because of so many people. Because I may not be expressing gratitude when I see, when I go out, even, because I book a Uber, I think, because I have to be expressed, some auto driver has taken the call and, he wanted to drop me and he comes there. He comes there. But of course, the system is there. It is not that everyone is getting, I am also getting not that. Sometimes, you may not get also, because if the demand is very high, you may not get an auto also. You will find some other means. Like whenever, because you are going through the life, when so many people are enabling you, the milkman who comes to your house and drops the packet of milk, even during the COVID days, he also had taken a risk and dropped the packet of milk in your house. And is it not, because by God's grace, because I have got it. So it is not my birthright. What is that, because I am so different from him. I am not so special to him. Same, because Angushta Matra Purushoha Sannivishtaha in me and in him. So I am not special. So once I have this concept, once I understand the concept, I am aware. What is my awareness? I am not special. I am not this body, mind, and intellect. I am something beyond that. Everyone is like that. Once you understand that, then automatically, because you will not be creating, the propensity to create the comfort zone will not be there. The propensity to create the complexities will not be there. When both these things are true, that is, you have got, how you have got it, because the sadhana every day, because you have been reflecting, you are giving mindfully the excellence. That is the sadhana. So once the sadhana has brought about, because the final culmination of the takeaway in understanding yourself and understanding this great truth that you are not special, and you are, because guided by the same force in others, and therefore, we will have to give our excellence. This is what it is. Tomorrow, the next week, we will be having the essence of Kathopanishad, and then we will be following with the Mundaka Upanishad with the great words Satyameva Jayate, and comes from the third Mundaka. With this, we will be concluding today's session. Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadidamastu ma vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, madam. Sorry, I think today I started a little late.
Doesn't matter. So I was wondering whether I missed it and finally you could manage at 11:30 only.
Next week, we'll try to do that. So today I have to go out, because I was back on